Hello, good afternoon. It's always a pleasure to come your way every Tuesday around this time through to the hour of 5 with Heritage in Focus. This afternoon, we are located at the Fair CEP building here on the campus of Heritage Christian University College. So the CEP building is the Center for Entrepreneurship, Philanthropy and Ethics. That is where we are transmitting live from this afternoon, coming your way with Heritage in Focus. My name is Dennis Abbey. And as usual, as we always do it on the show, today we are going to talk about something that is very much important, not just concerning tertiary students, but concerning each and every one of us who is watching this afternoon. And so as we keep doing all the time, just call a friend and tell that friend that Heritage in Focus is on your screens at this moment. And so join the conversation this afternoon so we can have a very, very insightful education this afternoon. We are talking about fire safety. And so that's what we are going to talk about. And our guest will be joining us. I'll be introducing him later on the show for us to delve so much into the conversation. He's somebody with so much experience, and so he's going to help us to do that later on. I'll recommend for you this afternoon. Bachelor of Business Administration programs in various fields are all available for you, as well as Bachelor of Science programs in Nursing, Information Technology, and Information Security are also available for you as well. And then they have also introduced BA in Psychology for all of you to be able to take advantage of. And so this afternoon, I'm recommending Heritage Christian University College for you. Admission is in progress for September 2024 intake as well as 2025 intake. Contact Heritage on 020-229-8399, 020-229-8399. You can join the conversation also on Facebook at Truth TV Ghana, on Facebook at Truth TV Ghana. Again, my name is Dennis Abbey. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, I'll quickly introduce my guest for today's discussion on Heritage in Focus, and then we'll start our conversation with fire safety. And we'll do some demonstrations and help you know how exactly you're supposed to handle fire in case you are caught up in such an unfortunate situation in your various homes. Some of us sometimes we rush into doing some things that would rather worsen their cases. And so this afternoon we are fortunate to be in this conversation. After this break, we'll delve into so much more. Stay tuned. Welcome back from that quick break, and so we are going to delve straight into our discussion for this afternoon. We are talking about fire safety literacy, and so we have with us an experienced personnel with the Ghana National Fire Service at the Amamole branch here this afternoon, and it's in the person of Mr. Daniel Obudai Sai.
Yes,
he is an additional divisional officer 1 at the Amamole Ghana National Fire Service. Mr. Sai, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Thank you for joining us on Heritage in Focus.
Thank you.
It's the first time we are having you on the show, and so we are very privileged to have you here this afternoon. But let's start off. How has it been so far? Ghana National Fire Service in general, especially at the Amamole branch, how have things been first half of the year?
Well, so far, I would say things have gone on well. Yes, it's been good.
Okay.
Yes, we've done our possible best to make sure that we do what we can as possible to prevent fire outbreaks. We've gone on what we call fire. We've undertaken a lot of fire education programs.
Okay.
Yes, we've gone around schools, offices, hospitals to educate them concerning fire safety. And we've in fact told them to take fire safety measures seriously. They should in fact prioritize fire safety wherever they find themselves.
Great. Good to know. Having heard this from your end, throughout your education throughout the year, what has been or what are some of the common causes that seem to result in fire outbreaks in our various households?
Oh, okay. Yes, the common causes I would want to categorize them or put them into 3 categories.
Okay.
Yes. This had to do one with electricity.
Okay.
And then secondly, gas. And then the third one will be what I would term poor housekeeping.
Okay.
Yes. So, for instance, if you take electricity, for instance, there are a lot of things we do. We overlook.
Okay.
Yes, concerning electricity. And then some of these things had to do with, overloading of our sockets or circuits. You see, and this results in fire. For instance, if you have let's say a gadget that has a capacity of about 15 or 20 amps, and then you plug it, or you put it, you connect it to a socket which has a capacity of about 10.
Okay.
You see, what the resultant effect will be that there will be overheating.
On the LPG, I mean the gas, is that to say there are so many homes in Ghana, or throughout your education this year, would you be able to say that there are many homes that are wrongfully using the gas cylinders?
Of course.
Because I know many are keeping the cylinders in the kitchen where the burners are.
Yes, it's wrong. It's wrong because of what I've just said. It's wrong. So the ideal thing is to place them outside. At least get a cage, for instance, a metallic cage somewhere outside, and then fit them in, and then connect the nozzle of the tube into the kitchen.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned a third category,
which is poor housekeeping. Yes, poor housekeeping in the sense that, you see, every material we have around, are classified into what you call grade A combustible and then grade B combustibles.
Okay.
Yes, I said grade A because, you see, if you take a material like, let's say, plastic bags, our clothes, the chairs we use in our home, the solid materials, yes, those are grade A combustible materials. And you have, and then the grade B combustible material is the petrol we have. Okay, so if you don't do a proper housekeeping and you end up packing them together, you pack a petrol, a liquid fuel like petrol with the materials I've said. Any slighted heat that comes around is enough to set the place ablaze.
I see.
So we always advise that you do what we call proper housekeeping. If you have grade A combustible materials, make sure you pack them together. Pack the grade B combustible materials also separately. You don't mix them up. These are the petty things that...
I see. And is that to say, again, that there are some households that do not really have this knowledge? Yes. And if it's so, what is it that can be done, especially from the side of the Ghana National Fire Service, in educating the various homes?
Yes, there are a lot. In fact, there are a lot of households who don't have what I've just said. Don't have any knowledge about what I've said. So for the fire service, we have a department called the Fire Safety Department. And our mission, our job is to go out and educate the public. Yes, and make sure that we impact such knowledge to them. So we are doing our possible best to do that. Yes.
Among these three categories you've mentioned, electricity, LPG, and then also poor housekeeping, which of these three usually contribute to a higher percentage of fire outbreaks?
Well, for now, I can say almost all of the electricity. I think electricity. Yes, it's
the charge.
Yes, the leading. It's leading the charge.
Then the gas.
Then gas comes in, especially starting from the kitchen. From the kitchen.
I see. Interesting. So we are talking to Mr. Daniel Obodaisai. He is additional divisional officer 1 at the Amamole Ghana National Fire Service. And this afternoon he's educating us on fire safety and some of the things that we are doing in our various homes that are not right when it comes to regulations of dealing with fire from the office of the Ghana National Fire Service. And so we just need to make sure that we just do the right things in our various homes. And so he's talking to us about. Make sure you join the conversation via Facebook at True TV Ghana, Facebook at True TV Ghana, and then we keep learning a lot from here. Later on the show, we'll be doing some demonstrations on how to get rid of fire, just in case, unfortunately, if you find yourself in such a situation. And so don't go away on the show with us. Let's get back to Mr. Saifo for us to talk more about fire and all of its causes and all of that. Now, when it comes to mobile phones in our various homes, and even sometimes our various offices and all of that, there are times we keep hearing we are not supposed to be using the mobile phones and be pressing them, all of that. There are some mobile phones and or some gadgets that we know that they heat up quickly. How much do those things also contribute to fire outbreak?
Okay, they do. When it comes to the mobile phone, sometimes one of the causes of the fire outbreak, in fact, when it comes to kitchen, is the attention we don't give to when we are cooking. We leave what we are cooking unattended to, and some of the things that causes that in mobile phone, you will see someone in the kitchen cooking. Maybe, in fact, if she has started cooking, then all of a sudden the same person is cooking, and the same person is having mobile phone on his holding mobile phone, and then whilst cooking, a call comes in. Then she picks the call. She will sometimes she will stay long on the phone talking. Before I realize, because of as a result of that, she will not pay attention to what she's cooking, and that will lead to fire. So the mobile phones normally comes to distract our attention from what we are doing, and this will normally obviously lead to fire outbreak. Yes.
So in our various homes, the houses and other institutions that do have some fire detectors and
smoke
detectors and all of that, how often should they be replaced, and how urgent should we take all of those measures in preventing fire?
Smoke detectors are normally fixed in household, and their function is to detect the slightest smoke that pops up. And whenever there is smoke around, obviously, fire has started or about starting. So the smoke detector will detect the smoke and then give off an alarm. Yes. So it's always very necessary we make sure it's functioning. So in fact, the best normally time to service it is normally for 6 months. At least every 6 months, you have to make sure that you service them and then check if they are in a good condition. So at least every 6 months, yes, to make sure they are always functioning, so that should there be any problem, it can quickly detect the smoke and give off.
And there are times you see some households also trying to put in place some form of evacuation plans and all of that.
Exactly.
How to what extent does that also contribute to preventing, let's say, case of death or loss of life?
Yes. Normally they do that. Normally, what happens is that should there be a fire outbreak, if the evacuation plan is not there, people will be running helter-skelter. The person may not know where to pass, where the best place to pass. The person may be going through a certain direction. If care is not taken, that may even be the place where the fire is. So the evacuation plans are normally there for people, to prevent people, one, from panicking. From panicking. Yes. And then secondly, the evacuation plan helps them to plan ahead. And then it also based on that, they can know where the safest exit point to go to, the safest point to exit the building. So those are the reason why the evacuation plans are.
Is it mandatory for every household to have an evacuation plan?
Yes, it's true. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
No matter the size of
exactly, exactly. Because the evacuation plan will help.
I'm just picturing and imagining that. Does that mean maybe we are not doing enough? Because there are so many households or houses that you see and you can imagine where exactly the house is located.
Yes.
In case there's any fire outbreak.
Yes.
Clearly, without any professionalism or anything about fire, you get to know that there's no evacuation plan for this environment.
Exactly.
Yet we go ahead to be in there.
Yes. You see, there are a lot of things we are not doing in this nation. One of the functions of the fire service is to provide what we call technical assistance on building plan, on buildings, for building plans. You see, so ideally, what everyone should do is that what everyone should do when he or she is about to build is to contact the fire service.
Okay.
Yes, we have that expertise. We have that expertise. You see, so as I said, we offer technical advice on building plans. So we look at your building plan and then we determine where to place all those things. We factor those evacuation plans into your building plan before you build. Okay. But in this nation, we don't do that. Everybody gets up and build anywhere. They build anyhow. And when the problem comes, in fact, things goes wrong, and then at the long run, the fire service and then other agencies are blamed. And
whose responsibility is it to ensure that any individual or any group of people who want to put up a building or a facility somewhere go through all of these processes?
Yeah, I would say that when you are building or if you're about to build, you go to the assembly, okay, for building permits. So when you get there, the engineers at the assembly, it's their responsibility to make sure that the person coming for the permit contacts the fire service, for the fire service to factor what I said into it before he or she comes back for the permit. But sometimes, you see, money changes and then and then we tend to forget about all those things, and then we allow the process to go ahead. So that is what. But I believe at the assembly, where the permits are sought for, they have the power to determine, in fact, to enforce this rule.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. We are still talking to Mr. Daniel Obodai-Sai this afternoon on fire safety in our various households and all other places that we find ourselves this afternoon. And already he has given us so much insight into some of the things that we're already doing or been doing for so many years already that are not right enough when it comes to fire matters. And so he is here with us discussing this matter. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to Mr. Obodai-Sai and find out from him, even in our various homes, how many of us do have fire extinguishers in our various institutions? What are the types of extinguishers that we need to really have in order to help some of these occurrences when they come, unfortunately, times where we've not really prepared? After this break, we'll get into much more talk. Stay tuned. Talking about fire safety literacy this afternoon on Heritage in Focus. Let me take some few messages that have come in via SMS this afternoon on the show, and then we can continue with our discussion. This one is coming in from Edmond, and Edmond says, I'm watching from Kaswa, and please, can you find out from the officer why is it that sometimes in our homes we are always told that we shouldn't take our phones closer to the burner in the house. I think you mentioned that already. He answered that already. So don't just.
It takes our
attention basically of the fire. But doesn't mean it's only the attention, because I think sometimes it's claimed that the phone has some radiation and some things can happen.
Yes, you know, the phone is radiation. Yes, and that is the assumption. But scientifically, I've not.
Okay.
Yes, I've not read about it and can say much about that. Yes, but well, that's because the phone is radio waves or electronic magnetic wave, and then the gas too. Yeah, so that's the claim.
Yeah, but
as I said, scientifically,
you haven't.
Yeah, I haven't so far.
Let me take this one coming from Deborah. Deborah says she's watching from Taifa. It's good to be watching Heritage in Focus since your bounce back. Thank you so much, Deborah, for doing the watching. This one is coming in also from Achieve. Achieve says, please, where are you now? Because today you are not in the studio. Achieve, today we are not in the studio. Yes, today we decided to step out, but we are still on the campus of Heritage. We are the Fair CEPE building. That is the compound we find ourselves this afternoon, talking about fire safety. Let me take the last one, then we'll get back to our conversation. This one is coming in from Lucky, and Lucky says, listening to the officer, it means that many of us are doing the wrong things. And so how can we stop doing the wrong things? Because if you come to my house, my father will not listen to whatever I tell him. So that was the question I was asking. I mean, it means many of us are doing the wrong things, and it's unfortunate that it's happening that way. But we hope that some of this education will continually with time help to reform everything that we are doing. But let me find out from you.
Okay.
There are times that things happen, and fire can happen at any time to any of us. But in case I should find out, I'm in my house or I'm in my office and there's a fire outbreak and I'm trapped in the fire.
Yes.
What is the first and what are some of the things that I should be doing, or as a group we should be doing?
Yes. We always advise that should you be trapped in, let's say, be trapped in that fire, the first thing is you make sure you get out of the building.
Okay.
And then once you attempt getting out of the building, it means that you want your life saved. There is this method we always advise that you go through. You apply what we call the crawling method.
Crawling method?
Yes, you go down, crawl on the floor, and then get out of the room. Once the house belongs to you, know the nearest place to get, the safest place to get out easily. Yes, so you apply what we call the crawling method.
Okay.
Yes, you go down, crawl on the floor, and get up. The advantage is that, you see, once the fire starts, there is smoke, there is heat. You know, smoke is heavier than oxygen. So once the fire starts, the smoke will be up, the heat will also be up, and oxygen will be down there. So once you go down and you crawl, you have the oxygen down there to depend on, and then move out of the place. So you crawl out of the room.
I see. Many a time, what we see is people running through the smoke.
Yes.
So
that's
wrong.
It's wrong. It's wrong. Well, if you do that, you may even get suffocated and then fall along the line.
I see.
Once you fall down, you get suffocated.
But when you are crawling, you can't be moving as fast as when you are running or you are walking.
Yes. But is that the fire has started all right. Maybe it may not have even gotten to the point where you may not even get out. Yes, so you are in the room and the fire has started. The best thing to do is to get out of the room. And once the house belongs to you, you know where to get out as soon as possible. So you go out through the nearest exit, best known to you. So you go down, crawl out of the room. That is what you do.
In cases where we have children, and the parents are trying to escape with their kids and all of that, how does how will the crawling come in?
Yes, you can. You go down, hold the child at least with one arm, and then you make sure you crawl. When it gets to that point, you go.
You maneuver.
You maneuver, exactly. You maneuver.
Interesting. So
the aim is to the main aim. In fact, the aim is to avoid inhaling the smoke for you to get suffocated and then die along the line.
Okay.
That's the aim.
But so aside the crawling method, is there any other method to escape in cases like that?
In fact, that is the main method.
Okay.
Yes, that is the main method.
Okay.
Yes. You crawl out of the building to the nearest exit point.
Okay.
I said the nearest exit point because you don't, if there is let's say an exit point closer to you, you use that one. You don't say you want to go and use the farthest one, not at all.
Okay.
So you go out through the nearest point.
Okay. Interesting. Good to know about it. But so let's now talk about extinguishers.
Yes.
We keep hearing the importance of extinguishers in our various homes and offices, and even sometimes in our cars.
Yeah, exactly.
We keep hearing.
Exactly.
Tell us about extinguishers, the types of extinguishers, and what exactly they do before we get into demonstration.
Okay. Extinguishers are what we call portable firefighting equipments used to fight fires at their early stage. That is what extinguisher is. Portable means that it's easy to handling them, easy carrying from one point to the other. So you use that to stop the fire when the fire has just started. So that is what extinguishers are. Now, for extinguishers, there are different types of extinguishers, at least 5 fire extinguishers. There are 5 main types of extinguishers. We have the carbon dioxide fire extinguisher.
Carbon dioxide fire extinguisher.
We have the dry chemical powder fire extinguisher.
So is this the carbon dioxide?
Exactly. This is a carbon dioxide fire extinguisher.
Oh, interesting.
This is the carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. Yes. And then this is the dry chemical powder fire extinguisher. Yes. Dry chemical powder because the content is powder. Yes, dry chemical powder. So if you are extinguishing the fire, it is the powder that would extinguish it. And this is CO2 fire extinguisher because it's filled with CO2 gas. Yes. Yes. So as I said, there are 5. So the other 3 types, we don't have them here. We have the water fire extinguisher, we have the halon fire extinguisher, and then the foam fire extinguisher. I said foam because, when it comes to fire, there are different classes of fires. And then sometimes if you take class A and class B fires, you don't the same the extinguishing media or medium that you use to extinguish the class A fires and isn't the same
as the class B.
Yeah, for the class B fires. The class A fires are fires made up of solid fuels or solid combustible. For instance, domestic fire, house fires. That's a class A fire. But for class B fire, these are fires made up of liquid fuels or liquid combustible. Perfect example is petrol fires. Should the petrol tanker falls on the ground, there is petrol spillage. And there is fire. That type of fire is a class B fire. So you don't use the same medium. Yes, extinguishing medium for that. Yes. So back to the foam I mentioned. So for class B fires, for instance, there is a compound we use, called foam concentrate. We generate that into a foam. The foam is proper foam is like soapy water. You see the bubbles and all that. So what we do is that should there be a class A fire, let's say fire involving large volumes of petrol on the burning, we pour the the foam compound onto the fire, and what it does is that it prevents oxygen from entering. It stops oxygen supply onto the fire, and then the fire goes up. So for class B fires, we use the foam compound. That's why we have the foam fire extinguisher.
Okay, so we've just put the images of all the types of the extinguishers on your screen now. So the foam one is currently on your screen.
Yeah.
So you can take a look at that as well.
Okay. So apart from that, we have water fire extinguishers, and then we have halon fire extinguishers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are the types of fire extinguishers.
Good to know that. We'll come back and see how we can use, especially these two that we have with us, which are the dry chemical powder
and then
extinguisher and then the carbon dioxide one with us here. So we'll come back and then come and do some demonstrations in case there's an outbreak.
Yes.
What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to just fetch some amount of water and just pour it on the fire, or are you supposed to just? We normally see people fetching sand.
Yes.
We see people fetching sand to just quench the fire and all of that.
Yes. When fire, for fire to start, you need 3 elements. Okay. When they come together and the fire starts.
Okay.
The same way, if you are extinguished, if you want to put the fire off, all you have to do is make sure that you take one of the elements out.
Okay.
So every action we take in extinguishing the fire is always aimed at taking one of the elements off.
Okay.
Well, for fire to start, you need one. They had to oxygen, fuel ought to be present.
Okay.
Oxygen ought to be present, and then heat. So we pour the sand onto the fire, and the main aim is to prevent oxygen, to take the oxygen source off. And that's why people
do that.
Pour sand on. But those, I would say, are the colloquial method of extinguishing fire. So, for instance, in your room, how do you get people to carry sand?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll come back and do some demonstrations and find out how we are supposed to quench fire, put out fire when we find ourselves in such situations. After this quick break, we'll do some demonstrations using the extinguishers that we have here. Welcome back from that quick break, and so we are here to do some demonstrations on how to put off fire in case we are caught up in that situation. And so stay glued to your TV set and ensure that you learn something this afternoon on Heritage in Focus. We are giving you the best to ensure that in case, unfortunately, you are caught in that situation, you'll be able to use the extinguishers that we found out. This is the carbon dioxide CO2 extinguisher, and then this is also the dry chemical fire extinguisher. And so Mr. Obodai Sai is here to help us through the various processes. We have a couple of people around here who also try their hands on to see what exactly it is that we are doing as well. So Mr. Obodai Sai, take us through the process and then let's see.
So this is dry chemical powder fire extinguisher. Okay, so now we will learn how to use it. And this is the CO2 fire extinguisher as well. Now, for you to know how to use it, at least you ought to know some of the parts. Okay? If you take this extinguisher, for instance, this is the cylinder, okay? And it is the cylinder which houses the content. Okay. In this case, it's dry chemical powder. Yes. So this is the cylinder. And this is the nozzle.
The nozzle?
Yes.
Okay.
Or some call it the discharge tube.
Okay.
And this is the seal, the rubber seal. And then the safety pin. Then the handle. Okay, or the lever. Okay. Now, what the pin does is that it locks the lever, because if you want to operate the extinguisher, you operate it through these points. And if you want to transport it from one place, from one end to the other, it's the same way you carry it. You don't carry an extinguisher like this. That would be an unprofessional way.
So you carry it this way?
Yes, you hold the handle. So the pin is here to lock it. okay, till you want to use it. And then we have the gauge, okay. The gauge tells you the amount of pressure in the cylinder. It is the pressure which will expel the powder out.
Okay.
So if there is no pressure inside, in there, the extinguisher may not work.
Okay.
Yes. So now we have, so once again, let's go to the parts. What did I say this, the name of this is? The nozzle. And then here.
The cylinder.
This one. Okay, what of this rubber? The seal. And then the safety pin is here, okay?
Okay.
Yes. And it's the same thing for the CO2 fire extinguisher, okay? The cylinder, the lever. But in this case, you don't have a nozzle on the CO2 fire extinguisher. What you have is a horn. Horn. So if you want to differentiate them, henceforth, when you go around, you should be able to differentiate them when you see them. Okay. Good. So these are the parts. Now, how do you use the extinguisher? For you to use the extinguisher, there is this acronym we always advise you that you put in mind. And the acronym is PASS. Let's all say it.
PASS.
Again?
PASS.
So how is it spelled? P-A-S-S. Okay? P-A-S-S. Now, we'll take the letters in there, follow it one after the other, and then we'll be able to use the extinguisher.
Okay.
So what is the first letter?
P.
The first letter, P, stands for pull.
Okay.
Pull. In this case, what are you pulling? You pull the safety pin. Okay? Pull the safety pin. When you carry the extinguisher, just look at where the safety pin is. Then you pull it. But I beg you, please, first carry the extinguisher and get to the scene first. You get to the scene.
Okay.
Assuming this is where the fire has started. Then, when you get there, look at the wind direction. Look at where the wind
is blowing from.
Yes, blowing from.
Okay.
If it's blowing towards you, you don't face it. You look at, you go to the other direction. If the wind changes, you also change it.
Okay.
Then the acronym I did mention of, PASS.
Okay.
The first letter P stands for pull.
Okay.
You pull the safety pin. Then the second letter, A, stands for aim.
Okay.
In this case, you aim the horn. You aim the horn at the base of the fire. The base of the fire. Then how many letters are left?
2.
The third letter, S, stands for squeeze.
Okay.
Then you'll be able to squeeze this lever, operating lever.
Okay.
Then the last letter, S, stands for sweep. You sweep from left to right.
Oh.
That is how you use the extinguisher.
Okay.
So I will set some fire and then demonstrate.
Okay.
Then you come one after the other.
Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, we have to pull.
Yes.
Second, we have to aim.
Aim, exactly.
Then the third S,
squeeze.
We need to squeeze. Then the last S, we need to sweep.
Sweep from left to right.
So today, if you're not going to learn anything on Heritage in Focus this afternoon, you are learning the acronym for preventing or putting off
the fire.
Or operating the fire extinguisher, which is the PASS, P-A-S-S. You pull, you aim, you squeeze, and then you make sure you sweep with the extinguisher. Perfect. And so we are going straight into how to now put it into practice. So, Mr. Bodai.
Yes. So I will start some fire, okay? For fire to start, I did mention, if you were watching, you need...
Make use of the camera for me so that...
you need oxygen. Then you need fuel.
Okay.
And then heat. When these three things combines in their rightful proportion, fire will start.
Okay.
So I will start the fire right now. So this is my fuel.
Okay.
So I have my fuel here. So I have my fuel here, okay? This is one element I've gotten.
Okay. Oxygen is available
already.
Yes,
oxygen is already available. You know, for us human beings, we depend on oxygen.
Okay.
We breathe in oxygen, and then breathe out carbon dioxide. So oxygen is there. Now, so the two are here. Now you need heat. So I will introduce my heat source.
at this point, let me just.
Yeah, exactly, for safety's sake. So fire has started. Now you have the extinguisher there. Quickly, as I did mention, carry the extinguisher. Run there. You get there fast. Then, I said, look at the wind direction.
Okay.
So, this place is okay. Have you seen it has changed? So, I can come here. It's still changing. So, okay. So, I can stand here. Now, what is the acronym? Which acronym did I mention? Pass. What is the first letter?
So, you need to pull.
Pull. The first letter P stands for pull. Have you seen the safety pin? Have you seen? Now, what is the next letter?
A. You need to.
So I aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. Then the third letter, S stands for squeeze. Then I'll sweep.
Wow.
Left to right. So that's how you use the extinguisher.
It looks that simple. It looks that simple, but I don't think it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Especially when it happens in your house. But Mr. Oboda,
yes,
while doing it, I was just wondering, will I really get the patience enough to be following the direction?
No. You don't go on the pace which I did, which I went through, because I wanted you to know how to use it. Okay. You don't go and stand there. You have all those stuff in your mind. So quickly carry it there. You know what to do already. You get there, pull your safety pin, aim at it, squeeze, and then sweep. Okay. You don't go there and then demonstrate. No.
What happens if you get to the wrong end of the wind? Well, you say you should be at the direction where the wind is blowing from. What if you do it from the wrong direction? The
danger is that you will have difficulty fighting it.
Okay.
It means that you have to fight the wind whilst extinguishing the fire. Okay. You also combat the wind, which may be blowing the fire towards
your direction.
So you have difficulty extinguishing it.
Okay.
But if you go to the opposite direction, it will be easier. Okay. Yeah, fighting it from there.
Yes. Interesting. So we've just witnessed a demonstration of how to put off fire in case you experience one using the extinguisher. At this point, maybe some of our people who are here would like to just have a feel of it and just give us experience. You don't need to be afraid, because definitely Mr. Oboda is here to assist. And so maybe just one of you would love to do that. Don't forget, we are making use of the acronym PASS.
Yes.
P-A-S-S. So the first is to pull. The second A is to aim, and then you squeeze the lever of the extinguisher. Then you sweep from left to right to ensure that you put away the fire. And so that is what we are supposed to do this afternoon on the show. And Mr. Oboda has just taken us through the process. Is any of you willing to come and have a feel of it? All right. So one of our students who is available here, Bram, is willing to help us go through the process. So Bram will help us, our fire service personnel for the day. So Bram, you're just going to help us to do that. You're just going to pull, first of all, what's the name of that again? The safety pin again. Yes. So the pin you pull, then you aim.
Yes.
Using the what? The nozzle.
Okay. So the fire started.
All right. So Bram, now there's fire. We need to quench this fire. We need to put this fire off. So quickly, you have to carry your extinguisher to the scene.
You can use the powder.
Yes. So you have to run quickly to the scene.
Run quickly to the scene.
Good. So you aim?
Yes. Sweep from left to.
Oh!
Clap for him.
Great. So, Bram has just put off the fire. Oh, interesting. My first time actually getting to know how to use the extinguisher, and so definitely I will have to see if I can also do some.
Okay, that's fine.
Put off the fire. Yeah. From now, if you have any outbreak, you can call me. If you have an extinguisher in your house, you can just call me, so I will come and make sure I help you out there. All right, so let me see.
Okay, so let me light the fire for you.
All right, so we are going to demonstrate to see. Now there's fire in my home or in my house. Okay. First of all, I just need to just pull first, and then I need to remove the pin from it. Then I need to aim this way. Then I need to squeeze. Then woo! There you go. All right.
Exactly. Clap for him.
So I just did that. But let me find out from you.
Yes, sir.
How dangerous is it for somebody? Because I just realized I did something. How dangerous is it to try and bend down a bit lower?
Oh, okay. You just have to calculate. Okay. If you get closer and you believe that is the safest means, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. But the danger is that if you get too closer and you are not able to extinguish it, sometimes maybe the intensity of the fire is high. And,
all right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Obodai, for taking us through this exercise. I hope you've learned something on the show today. Very educative, very insightful one as well. Maybe one more lady, so we can finish off.
One more lady.
A lady to finish off. Great. Yes. Emerald is here to help us to put off the fire. Emerald will help us to do that. Did I bring the pin back? Okay, so it's there. Yeah. So Emerald will do it and finish up. Then we can wrap up on the show.
I want Emerald to use the CO2. Fire extinguisher.
Same process.
It's the same process. You have to squeeze very hard.
Okay. Oh, so the lady has to squeeze harder.
Yes.
The gentleman didn't squeeze hard enough.
No, they did squeeze harder, but I mean, because of the type of extinguisher,
because that's carbon dioxide.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And in this case, I want you to know the difference. The CO2 has extinguisher has CO2 gas in there, and this one, the one we just use is powder. So I would move the pan away from here, and then you look at what happened when you use it.
Okay. Interesting. So Emerald is going to be our last demonstrator. Then we will know and see how.
Let me.
In this case, that's Emerald. I hope you are ready for us. That's my show us. Put off the fire. When you go to the house the next time, if there's anything, it's not going to happen to you. But anywhere you find yourself, you just can educate someone else on how to put off fire. And so we'll be setting up the fire very briefly, and then Emerald will help us to put it off.
Okay, so Emerald,
so go.
Carry the extinguisher. Get to the scene first before you do anything.
All right, so the acronym is PASS.
So in this case, that you go to the
acronym is PASS. The first is P, which is pulling. You have to pull the pin.
Go on.
Then the second is aim.
Squeeze harder.
You have to aim.
Go on. Go there. Go. Keep going.
Wow.
Keep going.
Wow. Emerald just did that. Great. Great. So Emerald just did that, and she's been able to just put off the fire for us this afternoon. Thank you so much, Emerald, for trying your hands on this for us this afternoon on the show. That's very insightful. But Mr. Obodai, I saw something. So you wanted our viewers to see something. The carbon dioxide seemed to come out with much more pressure. That is
that's fine.
Compared to the powder.
Yeah, for the pressure it's almost the same. But the difference I wanted them to see is that you see the powder has littered here, but because it's gas, it has gone.
Just evaporated
and left. So sometimes we advise that the CO2s are kept more in the kitchen. Yes, so that's the only difference. But for households, there's the dry chemical powder more.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Obodai. But we have to wrap up on the show. We've learned a lot, but let me find out from you generally the Ghana Fire Service. I mean, in recent times we keep hearing of prank calls to the security services, including the National Fire Service. What advice do you have for the general public on this particular?
My advice is that if you are in the house and there is a fire outbreak, the first thing to do is call the fire service. And our number is 192. Okay.
192.
Yes. Call the fire. In fact, that should be the first thing you even do before you even start fighting the fire.
Okay.
But the problem is that
Okay.
Yeah. But the problem is that sometimes we will try fighting the fire ourselves. And if we are not able and things get out of hand, that's when we call the fire service.
Okay.
And fire service, there are a lot of factors that, prevents us from getting them quick. We don't have proper road.
Use the camera from.
Okay, we don't have proper road networks, traffic, and all this. Yeah. So that's the first thing you do. So you call us early, and then we come there and then help you fight the fire.
Okay.
But what is happening these days is that people call us when there is no fire outbreak. Okay, they call us when nothing has been, just as a prank call. They call us, there's a fire, they give us a location, we get there, we don't see any fire, and then we get back. So my advice is that desist from doing all those things. Okay. Sometimes if I tell you the number of prank calls we get in a year, it's alarming. Yeah, so that's the advice. If there is no fire outbreak anywhere, don't call the fire service.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Obodai, for helping us with this kind of education as well. You have a question? Okay, just a quick one.
It's concerning location. So if somebody's home is located at a particular place, but the whole of it and everything does not give location.
Okay, so he's asking if there's a fire outbreak, but the location does not help vehicles to get in there. How do the National Fire Service help the situation? Okay,
well, what we do is that we'll try as much as possible to get there. And if we don't get there exactly, our machine, we have long hoses. We sometimes connect and make sure that the hoses get to the place. And so we do our possible best to get there. Okay. That's what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. But your phone number, in case somebody would like to contact you for further discussion.
Okay. Yeah. My phone number is 0243.
0243.
Yes. 85 64 41.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Obodai Sai. Exactly. He is an additional divisional officer 1 at the Ghana National Fire Service with the Amamole branch. He has been our guest on Heritage in Focus this afternoon, bringing you fire safety tips on how to make sure that you ensure in your home that you do the right things, because I've learned that we are not supposed to put our cylinders in the kitchen together with the burners. Make sure you have a cage outside where you can put the cylinders so that in case there's any fire outbreak, you have enough time to deal with them. And also as well, in our various home electricities, we should make sure that we do the right things with them, not giving so much voltage to some circuits that do not have the capability to carry those kind of voltages as well. And then the most importantly,
qualified electricians to do
qualified electricians as well. Connection, a dorsal. Connection, a dorsal. Let's reduce the connections as well. Illegal connections, I mean. And so let's do the right things as usual. And then the most importantly, we also ensure that we demonstrated something using the extinguishers that we have this afternoon. And so the acronym is PASS, P-A-S-S, which is to pull the pin, and then you make sure that you aim, and then you also ensure that you squeeze the lever of the extinguisher, and then you sweep from left to right, until the fire is off. A very big thank you to Heritage Christian University College for always sponsoring us to come your way with Heritage in Focus. Business administration programs in various fields are all available for you to choose from, as well as Bachelor of Science programs in nursing, information security and information technology, all are available for you. BA Psychology is a newly introduced program available for you as well. You can take advantage of all of these. You can contact Heritage on 020-229-8399, 020-229-8399. My name is Dennis Abbey. Thank you so much for being a part of the show this afternoon. To our production crew, Stephen Quays, Kojo Anero, Philip Asante Afua, Phineas Apiatu for Kojo, Kingsford, aka Beam. Thank you so much, all of you, for helping us. And to my producers, Zion Ewuku and Diana Omari AJ, thank you so much. And to all of you here who joined us in the demonstrations, Emerald, Bram, everyone else. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. So we'll come again next week. Bye-bye.